Hello, welcome to Tarot Concertina. Today we are looking at the month of July, and this is a reading for the Leo Collective. This is the Strength card from the 1960s Linweave Tarot deck. Check it out. It's a really cool deck. It's out of print, and I was lucky to be gifted this by a special person. Before I started the video, I did a little meditation and tried to get a few channeled messages. So the first thing I got in my meditation was the phrase, "Your ship is coming in." So maybe you've been waiting, putting a lot of work into something, and finally you're reaping the rewards of that. And then I got the sensation of going back and forth on a swinging, kind of like this pendulum action. So maybe you have been feeling like you've been going back and forth on something. Once something swings one way, it just swings back the other. It's this perpetual motion feeling. And then I got an interesting visual of using your hands in interesting kind of dancing, almost like a belly dancer would use, or a burlesque dancer, kind of this flared hand movements, especially around the face. Maybe you're exploring your more sensual side using your body, somatic movements, that sort of thing. And so I also was going to try to do some water scrying in this glass here. This is just a vintage glass I picked up at some estate sale along the way. I'm feeling like a pulling together, like a magnetizing of two polarities coming together. I am going to be looking at love and career briefly in this reading with the tarot cards. Maybe with a combination of like the ship coming in. It might be a relationship thing. I was thinking of it was more of a career payoff of some kind, but it could be the merging of energies, like that opposites attract. Also getting an image of a cat. Well, this is the Leo reading, so that's appropriate. Anything else? Yeah, I'm kind of getting that seductive kind of dancer motion again. Maybe you're a mermaid. I'm not sure. I'm not experienced with the water scrying, but maybe some of that or none of that makes sense to you. Totally fine. Let me know if any of that does make sense to you. That would be fascinating to hear about in the comments. Okay, so like I mentioned, first we're going to be looking at love in the month of July. I've already pre-shuffled these many times. Please show me love or relationships for Leo in July, please. I just felt a sense of something approaching really close. Something's getting so close you can almost feel it, but it's not quite there. I think you're going to be either meeting somebody in July or approaching some kind of encounter there. It's not intimidating, but it's kind of confronting, I would say. Okay, let's see what the tarot has to tell us. We have the Ace of Swords, Six of Swords, Page of Pentacles in reverse. So we have either a new opportunity in love, or something strikes you as a thought you have to move in the direction of love, but it looks like there's something here preventing you from making an investment. There's still more scholarly work to be done. I know that doesn't seem like it's related to love and relationships. Maybe there's more research to be done on the topic of romance. Before I talk more about this, I'm going to add 3 more clarifying cards. Here's the King of Cups, reverse, 10 of Pentacles, reverse, and the Star. So we have this long-term vision. The Star is your sense of hope, what you ultimately desire. That's a great way to conclude this reading. Like, this is what you're aiming for, basically. So we start with the Ace of Swords, which can represent clear thinking, but it's also action. It looks like the action you're taking is moving away from something to get to another goal. This is typically explained as moving from choppy waters to clear, smooth sailing. Your real goal is the Star. You have a vision, clarity of thought leading to this vision. There's something here where you couldn't quite feel emotionally stable about your 10 of Pentacles, which represents a larger community, your home, your family, an extensive network of some kind. They're both in reverse, so I'm thinking you're kind of doing an overhaul in order to get to more of an ideal vision of what you want in a relationship or love. You might have your eye on somebody. You may have seen somebody that inspired you, or met someone that inspired you, or showed you what you are looking for. I don't know why I'm talking in the past tense here. We're looking into July, so it's kind of current energies. So just take that as it resonates, but it looks like you're rebuilding something, you're restructuring something. If you're in a commitment already, you might be thinking about how you can improve upon it. Looks like there's something established here, 10 of Pentacles, and we're trying to kind of fit it into our long-term vision. You do look very inspired here. It's more of an intellectual inspiration though. With the sword activity, it's mental activity, and then our heart's not fully satisfied with something. I'm gonna get a few more clarifying cards. Knight of Cups, 5 of Wands. Might be feeling conflicted in our heart or blocked from expressing ourselves romantically. And we got the Star again, but in reverse this time. And Ace of Cups in reverse. It looks like we approached a situation we thought was our Star, and we were met with some conflict, and then I'm sorry if the romantic gesture was not reciprocated. It looks like because of this situation, we're going to aim for something different but similar. Like there's 2 stars here. What we thought was our aspiration needs to be reworked a little bit. I'm getting the sense you're or somebody else's, the energies could be reversed here. If somebody has approached you, you may have blocked their advances because you're after a certain concept. You're more of an ideal romantic partner, and they aren't quite what you think you want. You may have rejected somebody's romantic advance. Someone may be also trying to find another way around trying to get to your heart space. If this initial offer wasn't accepted, they might be trying to discover another way to invest in this that you will find more appealing. Again, reverse the energy as it applies to your situation. And then we're just going to get a couple of oracle cards. Have caution. And organization. Mercury in Virgo and Mercury in Capricorn. And we have control. So it looks like we need to exercise caution around approaching a scenario. It might be like you might work together. It might be because of this shared environment between the two of you. This is interesting because if you do work with the person, if you do share an environment, it might not be the ideal scenario for one of you to romantically engage with the other. I'm seeing somebody being like, wait, hold off. And looking at this gesture here. Okay, so you might encounter some resistance in your romantic life and your relationships in July. It looks like it's for the ultimate goal of moving it towards this star that fits you a little better than what this current situation is. Okay, I paused to shuffle, but I'm going to continue shuffling as we request information about Leo in July regarding their career. Devil in reverse, Six of Cups in reverse, Death, Queen of Cups, Nine of Pentacles in reverse, and the Three of Wands. This reminds me of the phrase I heard, "Your ship is coming in," when I was doing that meditation in the beginning. So the Devil in reverse is possibly freeing yourself from a toxic situation. It looks like that's a possibility that you were involved in a situation where the relationship between maybe your coworkers or your partners, whoever, it wasn't quite as harmonious as you would like, and it came to an end or is about to come to an end. Again, only take what resonates, and I will not be telling you anything so shocking that you wouldn't see this coming, or it might have already happened. Death can symbolize an ending, but also a transformation. But I do see here with this combination, it's very likely that you or the circumstances have put this to a close, brought it to a close. it may have been something you thought could be more of a Six of Cups energies upright, which would be a sense of a soul bond, a lot of camaraderie. It looks like once you've detached yourself from a somewhat toxic situation, you've realized those chains that you felt around you weren't actually that tight. In the Devil, it's usually depicted with these two figures having chains around them, but it's very loose, and they just don't realize they're free. They could be free if they wanted to be, or if they realize they could be. And then the Six of Cups in reverse, it could be a bond with somebody you feel obligated to continue having that shared experience with, because you probably go way back with this person. You may have known them a very long time. You might be kindred spirits, so you felt obligated to try to make this work, but it looks like it's coming to an end now, or already has. Or it could be transforming. But this, the way it stands here, is not healthy, looks like, for either of you, or for you and the work environment, or whatever it is you do for a profession. For some of you, there could be something you've worked on your whole life that you kind of feel bound to. It could be a long-term goal that you never thought you could break free from, but now you're realizing maybe that wasn't healthy for you, and you might explore other options or transform that into another endeavor. The Queen of Cups here is a beautiful, warm, inviting energy. It's peaceful. It looks like you're moving into July with a new perspective, and you're anticipating reaping the rewards of some kind of energy you put out into the world already, it looks like. And it's something you've worked on a very long time, but you haven't quite reached that point where you feel independent, either financially or just you haven't quite reached the level of success that you would ideally want for yourself. And you've put so much heart into it, you've put a lot of love and energy into it, and you're still longing and waiting for the recognition maybe, or some kind of acknowledgement that all this history you've put into it is indeed worthwhile. How long are you going to wait for that, is a question you might be asking. Ooh, this is hitting a little close to home. Gotta say, I have a Leo moon, so this might be partially my reading. All right, let's get some extra tarot cards for clarity. Well, I personally am going to hang on to that phrase, your ship is coming in. What else can the Leo collective expect in July for their career paths? Okay, the Page of Pentacles, Two of Cups, and Judgment. Let's get one more. The Devil. We have a repeating card here. Okay, well, let's not get pulled back into that devil energy. There's something here you're going to be very tempted. There's an offer here, it looks like you're contemplating investing in, and it's very appealing. It's something that you didn't think would come back around, it looks like, and it is related to something you desire, you think you'd be a good match for, so you really have to think about it. Okay, I just want some oracle cards to clarify the Devil. You could just interpret it as literally using your best judgment to consider this offer. Be wary of any toxic attachments it might bring up. This situation might realize they've lost you and come back around with an offer. Part of you feels bonded to it with the Two of Cups and the Six of Cups. So it's going to be a very difficult decision, it looks like. But another part of you realizes it's tied to this toxic attachment. It may be best to take a minute and meditate on it, but I don't love this combination of Judgment and Devil together. It's almost like a manipulation tactic to use your history and an emotional attachment to pull you back into something if it wasn't good for you in the first place. I just heard the phrase, "you owe me." Okay. And they might be offering you publicity of some kind. Saturn and Leo. You might be tempted to take the offer because of publicity. Possibly. I see, pointing at this star. I think you can create your own publicity. I think you can do it solo, because that's kind of what you desire, to be able to do something on your own. It looks like that's a hidden desire. Okay, what else? Achievement. Nice. How do we get this achievement? Discovery. So we have Sun in Capricorn, Mercury in Sagittarius. So you could be being discovered publicly, and that's the achievement. But I'm kind of feeling more like you're putting more effort into, it's almost like a scholarly pursuit. You're uncovering layers of something. I see you flipping through books, but that could be a metaphor for just increasing your knowledge base about whatever you're going after. And then you might publicly share what you've discovered, and that's how you feel accomplished and like you've achieved your goal. This is really nice. I like this energy. I don't love this energy because I do think it's tying back to this old situation that you've exhausted already. I would focus on this, your own pursuits. Whatever that means to you. So that's what I have for July in your career. Do let me know if it resonates in the comments. I'm very interested in what this is all about. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. If you would like to book a personal reading, there's a link in the description box to my website, tarotconcertina.com. I hope you have a beautiful July, and I will see you at the next reading. Take care. Thank you.